Raven.
And I'm Ahmaad.
And we're the Hoods. Welcome to Hood Tales, where we take you through the ups, downs, and merry-go-rounds of millennial marriage. Today we're talking all about legacy building.
Legacy.
Yeah. So, Ahmaad, what is a legacy to you?
A legacy, I'm stealing these words from T.D. Jakes. But he said a legacy is not what you leave for someone, it's what you leave in someone.
That's a word, TD.
And I wholeheartedly agree. And I don't think there's nothing else to be said after that. But Raven, what does a legacy mean to you?
According to the text, Miriam says that a legacy is an amount of money or property left to someone in a will. The second definition says the long-lasting impact of particular events, actions, etc. that took place in the past or of a person's life. That's what legacy is.
Bam.
And I fully agree. I think that naturally when I first think of legacy, I definitely think financial. I think of, generational wealth. I think of leaving land, homes, trusts, wills. I think of that naturally. But then also at the same time, it's funny, I first think of Bishop Pryor. Is the first person that pops into my brain when I think of legacy.
Fully.
Even just talking about it each and every time. And just to talk about it, we're gonna go into it. The question therefore becomes, who left a legacy for you? And financially, no one has left a legacy for me, okay? And if they did, it is hidden somewhere in the center of the earth.
TV.
Okay, hello? It ain't hidden in Uncle Joe's TV, I can tell you that much.
It's in there.
Okay? Uncle Pete, that's what's his name. Why I call him Uncle Joe? Shout out, my nigga. That's Uncle Pete TV. It ain't left to Uncle Pete's TV, okay? Big Mama ain't holding no money around here, Ahmaad, okay? But I think of the late great Bishop Marvin C. Pryor, and it's funny because of course he left me no money, right? Like, I'm not related to that man. I'm not his grandchild or anything like that. But when I think about how much he and VBM as a whole shaped me, and continues to shape me, right? It shapes the way I view other churches. It shapes the way I view other pastors, and and church decorum. Okay, it shapes all of that, and even in the way I view how leaders act when they're not quote unquote being leaders. It shapes all of that. Salvation plus education is equal success could be tattooed on my forehead. You know what I mean? And I believe that his life left a legacy for me.
Yeah, it's a true testimony.
Who left a legacy for you?
Well, like she said, ain't nobody left me no financial legacy at all. But if y'all did, y'all ain't right.
Cause where it's at?
Where it's been at? We've been struggling for a while. But I can't say anybody has left. I take that back. My great-grandparents left me a legacy. They were married for 70 plus years before they passed. And like seeing how family meant everything to them, and how they were able to bring the family out. Everybody coming to see, Mama Seal and Papa Sam. So like, it was, I will never forget those years, ever.
Wait, so it's your great grandparents?
Yes.
Yeah. I like that. So I'm assuming that you also feel like you're part of their legacy. Is there anybody else's legacy that you feel like you're part of?
I don't know. I mean, my parents.
Yeah.
But yeah, outside of that, I don't know. You?
I think that, and this may sound cocky, which I think some part of legacy does. I think that when it comes down to like trivial stuff, right? Like when it comes down to like musicianship in high school, I should be in the ranks. You know what I'm saying? Which might sound cocky because it is, but it's also true, right? Like when it comes down to my talent, yeah.
Touche.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be a lot of things, but a badass flute player I am.
Thanks.
And so, you know, when it comes, and even just also like plays to the music, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I should, you know what I'm saying? Like, I should be in the conversations. And so I think that, and of course we all have errors, right? Like, you know, there's a reason why Michael Jordan is considered, you know, it's considered, you know, the GOAT or whatever, you know, because of his era.
Yeah.
You know, like and I think that that's where it comes in at.
I feel you.
Like when it comes down to my era, please.
I feel it.
Please. You know what I'm saying? But we also want to discuss, because we do not have children and do not plan on having any of those little crumb snatchers.
Amen.
That having a child does not equate to them leaving your legacy the way you would have intended. I feel like when we're talking about legacy building and leaving a legacy, people without children, married, single, homosexual, whatever, like it does makes no never mind. Those people are left out of the conversation time after time, after time after time, because we view legacy in here as a way to build generational wealth. And you're not building, if there's no generation, right, direct generation that you are creating, you're left out of the conversation.
Yeah.
And so now the question comes, my mouse is not working, there we go. How do you build a legacy without having kids?
How do you build a legacy without having kids? If I'm going back to my definition from T.D. Jakes, a legacy is not what you leave to someone, it's what you leave in someone. It's how you treat people, day in and day out. I see people on a daily basis. I cut the same clients every day, no matter if that's for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. It doesn't matter. But I know if I die tomorrow, all of my clients will be able to say, he was one hell of a barber. And he was more than that. He was a therapist. He was, you know, someone who prayed for me. He was someone who counseled me. So, like, it's really how you treat people. Because they always say, you know, people will never forget how you made them feel. And they never will. So that alone is a legacy, because people will go through life and do certain things that'll be like, ah, man, Ahmaad did that. And that brought up so many memories, you know, or man, Raven, she would say something like that. She crazy like that. And that bring up so many memories of the past and the things that they said or did. How about you?
I think that when I think about like life after my mother not being here, like with me and my siblings, I think about you know, recipes being a big one, because food is such a big thing, like, you know, in our family.
Need a mac and cheese recipe.
Even like the hot dog stew, right? Finding out that my mama's oatmeal cookie recipe is just a Quaker box recipe had me heartbroken.
But I bet you can't nobody make them cookies.
No, because they didn't taste the exact same when I made them.
No,
they didn't. But even still, like recipes, you know, like there are. When I first made a pork tenderloin, I called my mama to make sure that I was seasoned right, because I wanted it to taste like hers. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And so like recipes for sure, and also family history. And I also feel like part of that is because I am the oldest. So like, you know, my brother don't know nobody. That poor baby, he knows no one. He don't know no family. And truthfully, Shell doesn't remember a ton either. But because I am the oldest and the most extroverted one out of the three of us, I know people. You know what I'm saying? And so even just our family history as a whole, I think that is a way to build a legacy without having children.
Yeah.
And also, like you said, how you treat our families and friends, and also, you know, how you show up for them. You know, I'm a very low maintenance friend. I check in on my friends every blue moon. Truthfully, I have a lot of low maintenance friendships, which also works for me. But I believe that they also know that the minute they call, good or bad, I'm showing up.
Yeah.
Because I'm literally only ever a phone call away, and I think that is also part of legacy. I also feel like our marriage is part of our legacy.
Hey.
We have already surpassed my parents' marriage, the duration of their marriage, and I feel like being happily married and happily being the key word. Till death do us part is part of our legacy. Like, it's one of the reasons what you just described with your great grandparents. Like, it is part of the legacy. To see that, to know that it's available for you to have, and to see it in action, right? That it's important and it's part of your legacy. Also being a part of the village of the children in our lives. You know, one of my best friends had a baby. He'll be a year old next month. But being, it is crazy. But being in his life and like, you know, being a support for him and his mother, I think is part of legacy building. And even just, not even just necessarily showing up for birthdays or whatever, but like, you know, we got together a couple weeks ago and just spending time, right? Like, you know, being a part, we took our little cousin to the zoo lights, and had a ball.
Yeah, we did.
And just showing up and being a part of people's lives, I think, is a big part of legacy, leaving and building. For me, because it's all, I'm such a memory person, you know.
Yeah.
I love shared experiences and things that we can recall that bring you together. And so I think that is a big part of how to build a legacy and what kind of legacy I want to leave. Yeah. So when you think of a legacy, what do you think of? I know that you said that it depends on like what, you know, the kind of person that you are, but like what kind of things do you want to leave? Do you want to leave anything? Generational wealth considering, or wealth at all for anyone?
I definitely would love to leave wealth. Financially, I don't know how or what I would actually write a book on, but I would not mind leaving a legacy in that manner as well. I also would love to leave some land. Yeah. My family has land down south, and I would love to procure my own land. How about you?
I definitely want to be able to leave something financial for my siblings, whether that be a trust, you know, whatever, but leaving something for them so that whenever the time comes that they need it, truthfully, even when I got it to leave, how about that?
Yeah.
That they have access to it because it's their birthright.
Yeah.
Because it's their birthright. And to do whatever, you know what I'm saying? To do whatever with it, but because it's their birthright to give it to them. And that their children's children ain't got to worry about nothing. You know, because they be the ones that have keys. I definitely want people, you know, depending on when you met me, child, and I do mean depending on when you met me, have a positive legacy about how the kind of person I am. And I've say it when I see it. Because you know, everybody ain't gonna like you, which is totally fine. I don't really care. I don't like people, truthfully. So, you know, you could ask, I'm sure there are a few people, quite a few from high school, you could ask and be like, about Raven, and I'd be like, because I'm into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I know that there are also some people that are like, Raven don't take no stuff, but she cool though, because it's really me. That is me at my core. You know what I'm saying? Like that is who I am. I'm a crack a joke. I'm gonna throw a little shade on it, okay? But I'm there for you.
She gonna hurt some feelings, but she gonna be there for you though.
Yeah. I also, it's also always been one of my dreams to give back to certain organizations that have like helped me along the way, and to, you know, have scholarships named in my name, the same ones that I talked about, you know, me being a flute player at the beginning of the episode, and I was at Flint Institute of Music for forever, and was there on scholarship and received plenty of scholarships and instruments and top of the line instruments to play that were my own for the duration of my time being there. And I think to be able to have, you know, I was a part of the Shand Honors Flute Quartet, but to have one in my name, you know what I'm saying? To have a scholarship, I couldn't tell you whatever the scholarships were because that was way too long ago. I've been out of high school a decade now. But to have scholarship funds in my name, to give back to our high school band boosters, right?
For
like
sure, totally.
To give back to to even give back to VBM, right?
Yeah.
I think part of the legacy is also even just other charities too. Like I have a really big thing for unhoused women specifically.
Yes.
I really do. It's a really big thing for me in my head, because every time it's cold outside, and even just in general, like I always be like, you know, that's crazy that people are outside, and I could not imagine being unhoused with no proper place to be while menstruating.
Yeah.
It is a scary thought, and one that every time I see a woman out on the street, I stop and get something. I don't care what I get, because I can't, and I always keep stuff in my car for that very reason, because that is the first thing that pops into my head. Yeah. And I mean, the very first thing that pops into my head is that, and they're crazy expensive anyway. I know I'm rambling at this point, I apologize, but that is also a kind of legacy I want to be able to leave. Is just, you know, being in a position to help those that cannot help themselves. Whether that be giving an outlet for students in the city of Flint that want to learn to play an instrument or want to learn to dance, yes, or, you know, that want to learn to do that, or that want to be a marching band and can't afford band camp.
Yes.
Right? Because I was also that child.
I was that child.
I was also that child, and to be in a position to do that, I think is legacy.
Yeah. Because I wish somebody would. I wish it was a scholarship that I would have known about for me to afford band camp back then.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have quit, honestly.
Listen, because that $300 a month was steep. I mean, a year was steep. Wasn't it 3?
4.
It was 4. Yeah. I'm like 4. 3 don't sound right.
4 was boxing me.
Yeah, it was steep. Very steep. And so I think that, you know, even just having that, and that's just as simple as being in school, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and even just having an instrument. Because if you were not a percussionist, you had to have an instrument. And that costs. Hello. So like even, and I think that that's a big part of it for me, is giving back to my legacy will be giving back to the very people and institutions that fed me. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's what I would want to view my legacy as. Yeah. Also, with it being Black History Month, I feel like this is also like very on brand, and that was unintentional. Tabitha Brown posted a picture not too long ago. Actually, posted on the first day of Black History Month, and she said, in her caption, you know, she was wishing us a happy Black History Month, and she said, I try to live every day as if I'm making history. And it's very true, because every day is a part of your legacy.
Every day.
What you do today determines tomorrow, and tomorrow is your legacy.
Yeah.
Today is your legacy, really.
Yeah.
And tomorrow is just how you view it, especially when speaking of Black history, and you know, our very existence is history, but what we do with that determines what is remembered, right? Like, there are several community activists and even just people in the community that, you know, the lady that gives to the unhoused on TikTok, I can't think of her name. You know her. She gives them food. She lets them pick out their food.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't think of her name. Oh, I can't think of her name. But even her, right?
Yeah.
Like, if not for the internet, she was doing it beforehand.
Yes.
And so there are many people that legacies may not be as big as Martin Luther King.
Yes.
But they have a legacy.
Yes.
Right? Because Marvin C. was bigger than Martin Luther. Okay? Martin Luther the King to me. And so, and I'm, you know, not diminishing. I'm just saying me personally. And so I think that when you think about legacy, like, every day is that. And I think that when you move like that, when that's your mindset, you think about it differently, because you're not even necessarily considering children. Do you have anything else to add?
No.
No? Do you have a hood highlight for today's episode?
A hood highlight for today's episode. My hood highlight for today's episode is not really, well, it is a highlight, but it's more so of a call to action. Examine your life and see the legacy that's been left for you. There has been someone, you know, something in your life that has left you a legacy. And now that legacy can be good or bad, you know. If it's good, how can you continue that legacy? Excuse me. And if it's bad, how can you better that legacy? Okay.
I think that even just my hood highlight would be that, especially for those of us without kids for whatever reason, that you are still a legacy. And that you can still create a legacy for the people that you love. You know, like, I want Savannah to grow up remembering experiences with me the way I do with her mother. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, they weren't huge, they weren't major, but I just have fond memories of, like, you know, hanging out with my older cousins, you know? And so, you know, and I want Aiden to remember us, you know, and, like, you know, the love that we show him, the love that we give him. I think that that's part of, you know, legacy. And to remember that every day you are leaving a stamp on your legacy. And that something as simple and also as difficult as it is, but choosing to make your marriage work is legacy building.
Fact. Big facts. You're building a legacy.
Yeah, we're building a legacy around here.
That's right.
So, also get your affairs in order, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Get you a trust. Get you some life insurance.
In order.
Get you some life insurance. No more GoFundMe's in the year of 2023. Out of our good Lord and Savior. Get you a will. Get you a trust. Start writing down your family's recipes on some recipe cards. Get your family scrapbooks in order. Organize them photo albums, because that's all part of legacy, especially in the Black community. Mm-hmm. Photos, food, get it all together, but it's, of course, financially too. So we are leaving something for our people.
For sure. It's good.
Yeah. Follow the podcast page on Instagram at Hood Tales Podcast. Yeah. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at _Raven Camille.
Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at _ the Gentleman's Groomer.
Raven Camille TV on YouTube. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, have a good one.
Till next time. Bye.